I'm tired of messing with my hair. I'm tired of doing my hair. So I want to take a break from detangling all the time. I'm just tired of having to do my hair. So that's why I'm doing a sew-in. Sectioning this hair off a bit, and I'm going to see here. So I'm just going to work combing from the bottom up. Alright, so as you can see, I have it separated into two sections. So I'm going to show you guys, we're going to move right on to the braiding for that section. So the next thing I'm going to do is just take this thin tooth comb, and I'm going to go back here and just make a part straight across at the very bottom, so like at the nape of your neck. Okay, so this part now is straight enough, and all I'm going to do for that right there is give it a good twist or a good braid. You want to braid that off and put that off to the side and save it for later. Now I'm just going to take this out, and we are going to start braiding downward. So I'm going to take the comb, make a part going straight down. Okay, and now I'm just going to start braiding this braid. This is the braid right here, going straight down. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is just go all into this whole section. All of the braids are going to be braided down. Okay, so now that we're done with this part right here, braiding it, what we're going to do now is we're going to take out that little bitty twist that we set aside earlier down at the bottom here. And we're going to braid it in whichever direction you want. But we're also going to catch these braids as we're braiding it straight across. Okay, so this is what we have now. Okay guys, so what I just did was parted out my invisible part area, and you can see I did like a curved part. Okay, so I have completed the braiding, and I'll show you what I've done. Right up here, I just did the little zigzag line. I ended up right here with these two braids. I ended up just braiding them from front to back. And all I'm going to do is just probably take them, sew those down so that I can get them off the way and so that they don't make a bulge or make my hair bulge. I went ahead and sewed down here. This braid that was hanging out, I sewed it down and went up here with it. Let's see. This braid, I looped it over and sewed it onto, wrong one. This one, I just got folded it over and then sewed it down. This one, I folded over, sewed it down as well. And this one was the ones that were up here that were kind of like crossing. What I did was I just ended up crossing them and laying them kind of flat. And it might look a little crowded up there, but I pushed them down pretty good so that it's not bulky. And this one, what I'll do is when I do the cap, I'll just make sure that I push this one down right here. And I have one little guy left, and I have to figure out what to do with that one. So, okay, so what I've decided to do is to take this braid right here, and I'm just gonna put it right in. See, there's two braids right here that I ended up looping over these on the opposite side. I'm just gonna take this. I hope you can see this. I'm gonna take this, push it down, and sew it down to these braids as they're going down, and then I'm gonna cross it over to right on this braid right here. And when you pull really tight, that is what helps it to bring that bulge down. It squeezes it in, it tightens it up so that it's not bulky and sticking out, sticking up and giving you bulge and giving you bumps and stuff in here. That's my cute girl. Cut that off. You want to make sure you're not cutting your own hair, so you want to get close, but not too close. Cut that out and you're done with the tying down. So let me show you guys. So it is all tied down. Everything has a home, and of course now I'm going to move on to the next step. Alright, so I went ahead and finished that. Now I'm just going to use this weaving cap. I'm going to put it on and sew it down to the perimeter of my hair. And since I'm going to be doing an invisible part, I'm going to go around this area here, and then this area here, and then around. So, alright guys, so I have sewed the cap down. I don't know if you can see it. Oh yeah, there you go, you can see it. I sewed it down. What I did was went around the perimeter, and I even got a chance to kind of push this piece down a little bit. Up here in the back, I just went around the perimeter, and then I cut through here, through the middle parts right here, because this is going to be my hair where my visible part, flippable, invisible part will be. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to tell you guys the hair that I'm using, which is Model Model Peruvian bundle wave. It's a jerry curl. This is like a 7-piece little bundle thing here. So I love the curl on here, so that's why I was like, yeah, I'm about to. I had already connected did the first stitch or did the first part of the sew on here, and then I just bobby pinned it over here on this side. For this one, for this bottom row, I'm going to be taking the track and sewing it basically underneath the braid. Not underneath the braid, but at the lowest part of the braid so that I can pull it up if I want to. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just take the hair and flip it over, and this time I'm going to sew on top of the braid. Okay, so I went ahead and did this. What I did was I laid the tracks down on the braid that I'm going to braid it on, but I flipped it outwards, so it's going to be a flip over. So I laid it down flat on top of it, and I'm going to sew it down on top of the braid and then flip it over when I'm all done. So let me get this in place. Okay, so okay, and I'm just going to sew this. So these two right here, I'm just going to sew them as close together as I can, or on top of one another. Okay, so now that I've got that sewn, and I'm just going to take the hair and flip it over like that. The hair that I've sewn down already. And actually, let me cut this string real quick. Okay, so I cut this string. So I'm going to flip this over now, and this is what that's going to look like. And you can see when it let it go, and when I get that second layer up here, you're not even going to be able to tell that there's anything going on up there. So let me, and I've done this method several times before. It works, and well, the last time I did it, it was a mess. But that was because of the hair. You got to be careful with the kind of hair that you get if you want to do this method. You want to make sure that at the top of the weft, you want to make sure that the hair is not all cut up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to make sure it's not all cut up, because then it'll stick out, stick up, and it'll just make it bulky and bulging, and that's a hot mess. So, and then the hair that is not flipped over, which is right here and still attached, I'm just going to loop this over. Just going to like circle it and then place it. Let me get my bobby pin. I'll pin it down with a bobby pin so it doesn't move. And then I will just lay the hair right there, right in front of the hair that we just sewed down. So I have the weft pointing outwards. And that's how you have it. Like, normally you lay the weft down in the direction that you want it to go in. This is in the opposite direction. So that's what I mean by flipping it outwards. Okay. So then I'm just going to go on and sew this down just like I did the last one in a flipped over pattern with the weft facing the opposite direction, facing outwards. I'm going to sew it down, and then I'm going to flip it over and come back and show you guys and see if we can get to that invisible part really quickly. Okay, so I finished sewing that down. I'm over here now, and I'm just going to take this hair just like I did the last time and flip it over. And I will show you what it looks like up close. This is what it looks like up close. And so now what I need to do is just basically sew down to these parts right here, doing the invisible part and then the closure, and we're done. So now for our invisible part, and I always sew mine down. So I'm just going to take this piece here, and I'm going to sew it down to the braid. And you really want to just sew that all the way down. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm coming all the way to the end on it. So I got this all sewn down all the way to the end, and I'm just going to cut this and move on to the very next braid. Alright, so the next piece, I will take this, place it on top of the braid, and start sewing. And you want to make sure that you have that down to the end of the braid. Make sure the ends are matched up. And I'm just braiding this, sewing this directly down to this braid. Nothing fancy, just sewing it down. Alright guys, now it's time to do the closure. And what I'm going to do is, if you can see, I have a place right here where the closure needs to go. And let's see if you can see that. You see that right there? I have a part on this side and I have a part on this side. So I'm just going to make sure that those parts are out of the way. And then just put the closure piece right here. Let me show you. This is the closure piece. And I'm going to take the closure, move the hair out the way as much as I can, and then I'm going to put it right here and sew it down, and just sew around the edges of that closure. And you want to make sure that you're sewing it down so that you're not grabbing other hair around it. So I'm trying to be real careful. So you just take it, you put the underneath, you can put it underneath the braid or the net, and just make sure you're going through the closure piece around the edge of the closure piece. And I'm just going around making sure that all of the edges of the closure piece are sewn down. And that closure piece is down. It ain't going nowhere, baby. It ain't going nowhere. Alright. Let's check this out. This out. Now. Okay, there's that fullness I've been looking for. Up in this thing, I was stuck in there, like literally stuck in there. And then this thing's really stuck. I am still natural 100. I broke the freaking needle! I broke the needle. It's going, look, let me put you on pause. The thing about braiding your own hair is that the braids are not always going to be perfect. The parts ain't always going to be perfect. Sometimes you ain't going to do it just perfect, you know. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Sometimes you might be doing a style and don't even really want to do it. You're like, man, I'm about to slap this up here.